All right, everybody, welcome back for day 3. We're going to start out with some squats, but the way I like to approach a squat, and this is the big problem with weightlifting, is getting the hips to start the motion. So get your length in your spine, engage the psoas. That's going to stabilize the lumbar spine. So when we hinge, let's go into this founder position. We got that hinge or that motion. You can see a lot of the knee really hasn't done much. A lot of people use a lot of the knee, a lot of the spine to squat. So we go from this position, from the hinge to the squat. It should feel kind of stiff. So the knee's doing a little bit of work. And you come back up to the hinge, back to the squat. Do that 10 times. Time it with your breath. So you inhale into the hinge. Exhale on the squat. Inhale to that hinge, hamstring tension. Drive into those hips. Just warm it up. Trying to just keep the motion in the hips. All right, then we'll go a little bit lower. Try to keep your weight back. You don't want to be too in the knees. Best as you can. Let's just push knees into the elbows. And then we're going to shift a little left. Rotate left. Rotate right. Get those ankles going too. Elbows outside the knees. A little uneven ground here. But hinging. Then go into that squat. Wrap those elbows around the knees. So you're squeezing isometric. 5 breaths here. Got a little shoulder pop. Good. Let's get those hands on the feet, underneath the toes. Good way to get that hamstring stretch. Down to the squat. Hamstring stretch. Posture up. Just 3 more. Spine's not going to be perfect here, but you can definitely feel this in the hips, hopefully. If not, just approach it a little bit better posture. 1 more. It's almost like you're driving the ground away here, preparing for a deadlift. Good. Hands on the shins. Good. Let's do a little Cossack squat. So get a little wider. Crazy dogs today. So all you're gonna do is lengthen. Try to keep that motion in that hip. If you want, you can do a little reach. Come back up. Little reach. It's the stiffer hip for sure. Everyone wants to, especially instructors, they want to be like, they want to show the good side, you know. So they look pretty, they look good, and then they're doing their yoga class and they're demoing on their good side the whole time. And I call them out, and I'm like, you've been demoing on that side, right? Like, hit that right side. Show the world that you're not superhuman. That's what they want to see. They want to see you struggle, I think. They like that. They're like, oh, look, that person's like me. And then they have surgery in the right ankle, and it throws their whole body off. So if we're perfect, why do we even need to do this stuff, right? We're always trying to correct something. So let's do an extra one. on whatever your tight side is. Mine's my right side. Just combining that hip and shoulder motion. Good. So let's do our subscapularis release. You can stay wide here if you want. Let's do some different motions today. You can also use fingertips. It's almost like as you're reaching, you're pinning that shoulder blade so it's not gonna follow as much. So the subscapularis does this. It's gonna internally rotate that shoulder so you can stretch. Also run through activation across the body. Let's work that. Let's try to combine that with a little bit of a squat here. Reaching. And sometimes, I think I said this last time, but it's not always painful because you got several different muscles running through there, and you might target in on, hey, that hurts. So let me dig into the hurtful one. What's tight doesn't always hurt. Often the shoulder is more restricted, I'll notice on people. It's the side that doesn't hurt. It's the other side. Hey, calm down. Got a squirrel or something up there. He's really excited. The story about this dog is when I first came to this house dating my wife, dog couldn't walk. Adjusted its back and it's running around very well now. So there's a plug for chiropractic. Invite your chiropractic friends over. Let them adjust your animals. Got a patient that way too. Vet was gonna put the dog down. He's dragging his back legs, just like this guy here. Fix that little lumbar. Good to go. Don't forget to do that. Little external rotation. Your biceps, your tendons snapping there. I'll show you a little release here. So you'll just come into the groove where I need to get some suntan. I'm going to go out, try to pin that tendon down, and then bring it across the body. Sometimes I'll feel a little snap. Just kind of reset it. It's more just breaking up that tissue, because subscapularis goes right on that inside of that bicep tendon there, called the lesser tubercle. So if that's pulling too much, the tendon wants to flip over to the side, so you're just trying to set it back in the groove, and teaching it to stay in the groove as you move. But usually if you're just really active about it, you can teach it there. Another good little alteration here. Take this hand behind the head, we'll go into our split stance. Going to hinge the hips. Usually that's a good little opening up there. Push your head back into the hand. Just doing a little bit more release than we did last time. Use the fingertips, whatever you guys want. It's also going to work that other shoulder a lot to push. Retraining proper motion. Not just releasing something, but using the other muscles. Teaching it how it should move. That shoulder blade shouldn't be doing all the work. The shoulder should be doing all the work. Let's switch that up to the other side. It's actually honestly probably better if the other leg was dropped. So probably backwards, because then you get that lat stretch as well. Left hip drop, pelvis drop, QL, lat stretch on the left side here. So I did that a little backwards. Might feel exactly the same to you, but Sometimes letting that hip drop, it helps. We'll compare. It's pretty close, but I could definitely tell a difference. So we'll just repeat that again on this side, just in case. Always fishing for what's holding me back. Did notice, I don't rewatch the whole thing, but I was doing my breathing. My right shoulder wasn't going as high. Right elbow actually wasn't going as high. Also lets you know. So record yourself. Like, oh yeah, my left shoulder was hurting, but I see that right shoulder's restricted. So let's work on that. And hopefully that evened it out. We'll see. Sometimes it depends how you're standing, but get a couple. Inhale, raise, raise, raise. And maybe if you know, fight for that right to go a little higher. Unless you're gonna learn to climb trees, you're never gonna get that squirrel. At least he's entertained. He's getting exercise. That's more than I can say for most of us. Let's go left foot forward. We're always gonna do the archer here. It's good to have at least one thing you're consistently practicing, besides just straight up decompression, which is decompression breathing, most important part. So make those breaths loud, expanding the chest, getting the shoulders pushed out, not just back, but the rib cages in the back, shoving those shoulder blades wide. Overhead. Platter. Make a little diamond. Back down. One more of those. Fingertips together. Drive it with your whole body overhead. Platter. Fight so there's no clicking in the shoulders. That's all about stabilization. Even going down slow. All right, so it's set up for our archer. One other little good positioning for the shoulders, which we didn't go over, is instead of going from the hip hugger, which actually is good to go from the hip hugger, go into what we call long wing. Good little pec stretch here if you're driving up properly. If you're lazy with it, you won't feel it. If you set up good, feel that there. Do a couple of these. Especially if you're getting clicking. Less is more. Actually feels really good. Just bending your elbow without having your shoulder move. Without having the rest of your body help out. Little things that normally are easy become very good active stretches. Stretching what's tight, activating what's weak. Now from that long wing position, you can scoop it up. We're actually going to do the normal archer though, so don't hinge. Just a subtle hinge. Getting some length, getting your neck long. So the right hand's going to pull. Let's do 10 on the right, and then reverse archer 10 on the other side. Thumb in there. And then inhale. And we'll go a little faster. We'll let that arm come out like this time. A little different every time. Open up those hips. Sometimes I forget to do that. As far as the head, I think it is best to stay straight. I always forget that. It's hard to fight for everything at once, but the better you get at doing that, especially working out, a lot of people forget about their neck. part of your spine. Elbow high here. I feel like I failed there, especially my right shoulder. Wouldn't know because if it's not painful, but and the left one has been a little achy. So even there, I'm thinking, okay, perhaps it's the right causing the left. Let's fight for a little bit more work on that right side. Say 3 more. Just about 10, guys, whatever 3 more is. Just follow along. It's not about numbers, it's about breathing. Reverse archer. We're gonna switch. This one will trace back. Hey, Porter. Shh. Ruining the calm of the moment. He's excited. You can't jump that high. I'm not that good a chiropractor. 3 more. And I'm totally failing because the dog's distracting me. But remember, sorry about that. So we're going to, as we drive, push off that back foot. Let's try to get 5 of those, sorry. It's not that you weren't doing work before. Let's stay in the hinge for the last few. Reach. Good. All right, let's switch it up. Always reset. So you probably lost. If you ever feel like, man, you just started compressing, reset. Once you've lost it, you've lost it. Sometimes there's no recovering from that. Just gotta go back, find your balance, get that chest broad, big. Squeeze the legs towards each other, lift your skull, little glute squeeze at the end. This first one will reset with the hip hugger to the long wing. And just trying to keep nothing else from moving. Time that with your breathing. So, as the arms come down, try to even push your spine up in the vacuum created. Rib cage and spine. Driving up in between the shoulder blades, creating a longer neck. More tension on that upper traps, SCM muscle, scalenes. Sometimes it's these subtle things when you're first learning this that you actually feel a lot more than to the hinge. So just normal archer here. We're driving the hands away, back of the head away, but still keeping the hips underneath us. We don't want to be there, right? We want to keep that underneath. If you lose it, come back here, reset. This is the most important part. All right. Exhale. Keep your fingers along that thumb. Bicep tendon's popping a little, so I'm not going to do that little flourish. That could be a lot of different things. Instability. Might just take time. There's a ligament called the transverse ligament that goes over top. It's supposed to hold the bicep tendon down. My skull right now. Clicking's not good. If you can avoid the clicking, just do whatever you have to do. We'll try one more time here. Yeah, if I go really slow, it doesn't pop, so you can fight through it. Let's do one more. I'm gonna see if I can fight through that again. Inhale. Just really keeping stability in that shoulder. That's when I do funky things with it. Let go of that compression. That's when that tendon pops, I notice. So those two were fine. I just had to fight for it, so it's just me being lazy. So now we're gonna stay in the hinge the whole time. I kind of like that. So it's what we call the woodpecker. And then we'll do the reverse archer from there, and we'll finish out with 10. So right thumb, left palm. Inhale. Actually, we might do a little bonus round here at the end. Feet should be tired. That dog should be tired of barking, but he's not. The shoulders start hugging. Reset. Definitely felt I lost that. You want that hip to be pushing the hands away. Neck stays long. Just finish out your 10. I'll catch up. I always forget to push with my left hand. It's hard. It's so many brain things. Driving away. Think about if you had a bow with a bowstring. Just. One more. Good. I'll finish with a flat foot. Kind of lazy with it, but enough where you can breathe. Just don't put all your weight in your knees. Definitely keep your heels down. I'll do it from the side. So I'm not going to get as deep as I can, because watch, if I go really deep, it's just kind of lazy, like the spine's all hunched. So I want to get a little more in the hips there. I'm going to try to do 10 to 15 breaths, just holding that. It's a big broad chest, so as engagement, don't lose the engagement as soon as you go down. If the knees start the motion and your pelvis tucks right away, you've done it wrong. So what you want is the hips hinging backwards. Motion not starting in the knee. Spine shouldn't flatten. Keeping that length. Hinging down. Good. And then breath here. A little counterbalance. Just try and get that neck longer. Set that hinge, get a little more hip focused with the hinge. Your spine's gonna want to start caving in, don't let it. 10 more. Each one, push back on the hips a little bit more. Final 2. Off to the side. Okay. Hands on the shins. Let your spine open up. Ooh. Got a couple good pops in the spine there. Let's finish with the hands on the grass. A couple more breaths here. Bonus round. on, you might be like, man, my hips and my legs are more tired than my arms. Fix the hips, you fix the shoulders. Now the dog's gonna stop barking. Thanks for coming out for day 3. I'll see you for day 4 tomorrow.